You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, this Lane Kiffin situation has went from mildly absurd to just flat baffling. This story is growing more and more tentacles. Remember, supposed to have a decision after the Egg Bowl. Nah, you can forget about that. No, now we've got Lane wants to coach through the playoffs, and Ole Miss not wanting him to, or does he, or doesn't he? Players, we're now finding out, Ole Miss players are furious. Lane Kiffin is getting drug all over social media. And the one thing I wonder in the current landscape of college football, if Ole Miss was willing to meet the monetary amount, and I would assume that they would meet the roster monetary amount, in other words, the NIL money, what's the point of leaving? Somebody I heard say earlier today, winning a title at LSU would be different than winning a title at Ole Miss. I would have absolutely agreed with that prior to NIL. I just think these perceptions of schools are changing now. And I think that's why you've seen Missouri's head coach stay, Indiana's head coach stay, so many of these other head coaches decide not to leave their programs because they're starting to realize in the NIL world, they can build powerhouses. Don't look now. Look at this season. Look at last season in Indiana. They're officially a Big Ten powerhouse. They are a powerhouse program now. You know, I don't know. I could understand Lane, and I really don't have a problem with him doing this or leaving, but unfortunately, it was going to get messy, and it's getting messy now because that's the rules the NCAA has it set up. There's no way for it to not get messy and ugly anymore. It's just not set up that way. And there's so much news on this. It's insane. Lane Kiffin has lined up most of his offensive staff to join him at LSU. He told them if they're not on the plane to Baton Rouge today, they won't have a spot on the staff. The Tigers have a press conference scheduled for Monday to introduce Lane Kiffin as coach. I mean, this is wild. Will Compton, no, Lane Kiffin should not be able to coach Ole Miss as LSU's head coach. The hero has now become the villain. Who's the villain here? Lane Kiffin or the route to new opportunities set up by college football? Sources tell me Pete Thamel and Marty Smith that Ole Miss team meeting scheduled for 10 a.m. Eastern has now been moved later in the day. We think it's been moved. We think. Chase Parham of CBS Sports reports it's been moved from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. The move come amidst reports Kiffin is threatening to take most of his staff with him. At the heart of the chaos is a high-stakes tug-of-war regarding Kiffin's desire to finish the season at Mississippi before heading to LSU. The powers that be at Ole Miss reportedly want to cut off Kiffin's access to players in advance of the January 2nd transfer portal. Also, any success Kiffin has in the college football playoff becomes recruiting fodder, not for the Rebels, but for LSU. Okay, that makes some sense. The entire situation flows directly from a bad system that the NCAA has allowed its programs to establish and maintain. Coaches from the NCAA member schools should be off limits to other NCAA institutions until their seasons end. No contact, no recruiting, no offers, no negotiations, no contracts. The NFL does it this way. And imagine how crazy it would be. For example, the Giants were permitted to pursue and hire Ben Johnson before he finishes his current season with Chicago. That's what we're talking about. It's absurd. The fact that the mere possibility sounds beyond ridiculous shows you how ridiculous the NC2A's current model is. Florio put that up. For once, Florio's not wrong. Big Cat, I'm kind of rooting for this to go on forever. Like week 10 of next year, we still don't know who's coaching LSU or Ole Miss. That's funny. That is funny. Per a source, who's this, Neil McCready, the Ole Miss Leadership Council is on its way to Lane Kiffin's office in Manning Center. Players are unhappy with Kiffin, and that's putting it mildly. Ole Miss is deciding the machinations of an interim staff with either Pete Golding or Joe Judge leading. Pete Golding's the DC. He's not going with Kiffin. We found that out. That's crazy. That's crazy. Rumor is the reason the meeting took so long yesterday is that he demanded to coach the playoffs or he would take every assistant right now because he would say, "Come now," or there is no offer. Total non-movie villain behavior. Yikes. Yikes. There has to be something. Poor Marty Smith. I mean, he's been posted up around Lane's office or wherever he's at forever. I mean, people are literally posting memes of him being like 90 years old, still standing out there waiting for Lane Kiffin to make a decision. Kiffin has made it clear to Ole Miss administrators that he is leaving for LSU. Sources tell Yahoo Sports Ross Dillinger. LSU's original proposal to Kiffin, as reported last Friday at Yahoo, was a 7-year deal, more than $90 million, making him near the top salaries in the country. But again, supposedly that's not the issue, because I think Ole Miss actually matched the salary offer. It's about perception, right? Perception of program, one versus the other. I mean, never mind that they might literally build statues for you at Ole Miss. Jeff Schwartz, why is Ole Miss letting Kiffin in the building? Tell him to kick rocks. He's gone. Yeah, I mean, I kind of see it. For a while, I was like, let him coach through the playoffs. The more I think about recruiting and NIL, and if he was to win it all, it actually becomes a bargaining chip for LSU, not Ole Miss, because the win is going to be tied to Lane. You can't let him back in the building. It's over. It's over. Now you got to cut him off, put Joe Judge, who coached the Giants for a couple of years, got run out of town, but he's got head coaching experience. Put Joe Judge in charge. And yeah, what's become this magical, deep Ole Miss run is now over. But again, above everything, college football has got to douche the program. The way they've got it set up now. Do not let any coaches and programs talk to each other until after the college football playoff. Move the portal, move anything you got to move. But you figure that out. No more swooping in to hire a coach from another school while the season is still going. And that's whether a program's in the playoff or not in the playoff. Make it the same for everybody. And then you've got, right after the college football playoff is over, you've got a couple of days of berserk coach movement. That's fine. And then let that all play out. Then have a transfer portal. All of that. And you've turned. It would allow you to have like a 1 week time period of news cycle in college football that'd be like fantastic, second to none, just pure chaos. Kind of like when the NFL free agency period starts and the first 2 days is just berserk, which, by the way, has become big business for the NFL. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.